Alright everyone, let's talk Mickey 17. This is Bong Joon-ho's first proper dip into sci-fi since Snowpiercer, and it's got Robert Pattinson playing a really interesting character. Basically a disposable colonist who gets cloned whenever he bites the dust. The early buzz is definitely mixed, with some people really digging the ambition and Bong's visual flair, while others have found the pacing a bit of a slog. So, let's break it down without all the hype, just the facts. And heads up, we'll get into spoiler territory towards the end. So one thing you can't deny is that Robert Pattinson really throws himself into this role. Playing multiple versions of Mickey, he managed to give each one a slightly different feel through his posture and how tired he seems. It's subtle but effective. Apparently he spent ages with Mickey 7 book and worked closely with Bong to nail the physicality. The script itself doesn't give him a ton of big emotional moments, so he's really relying on expressions to show the kind of existential dread you'd expect from someone who keeps dying and coming back. It's a pretty restrained performance, but honestly, Pattinson elevates the whole thing. Now, where the film seems to stumble for a lot of people is the pacing. The first hour or so feels really heavy on exposition. We get a lot of detail about Mickey's work, how the cloning works, and all the corporate politics. Key plot points like the actual threat from the alien ecosystem don't really kick in until later. A lot of critics have also pointed out that the tone feels a bit all over the place, shifting from dark comedy to some pretty grim body horror without always feeling cohesive. You can see Bong's trying to do something ambitious here, but the execution sometimes feels a bit rushed or uneven. Moving to the supporting cast, it's a bit of a shame because you've got talents like Toni Collette as Commander Nova and Steven Yeun as Engineer Jang, and they feel really underused. Noah's pretty much there to bark orders, and Jang's backstory gets maybe one throwaway line. If you've read the Mickey 7 novel, you will know those side characters have a lot more going on. But the film seems to sideline them in favor of focusing on Mickey and the clone drama. It feels like a bit of waste of some really good actors. The sound and the score are interesting too. Jung Jae-il, who did the amazing music for Parasite, goes in a totally different direction here. It's much sparser with these electronic beats and industrial clangs that kind of mirror Mickey's almost mechanical existence. They even used real machinery sounds from NASA, which is a cool detail. But the score can get a bit repetitive over the film's long runtime and doesn't really have the same impact as his work on Parasite. When you compare the movie to the book by Edward Ashton, Bong keeps the central idea of clones as disposable labor, but a lot of dark humor and philosophical debates from the book seems to have been toned down. Those quieter moments, like Mickey's interaction with AI, are often replaced with more action-heavy sequences. The film really seems to skip over a lot of books' exploration of what it means to be a clone, opting for more spectacle instead. Visually, Bong definitely made some interesting choices. They built a lot of practical sets like a spaceship interior and the cloning vats, which gives the film a really grounded feel. But then the alien stuff is very CGI heavy, and it can feel a bit tonally jarring. The alien creatures are a mix of puppetry and CGI, and while they're original, they don't always feel fully integrated into the story. Critical reception has been pretty divided. A lot of critics praise the visuals and Pattinson's performance, but they're less keen on the script's structure. You see quotes calling it a misfire with moments of genius, alongside praise for its ambition despite flaws. Audience reactions seems just mixed, with book fans often feeling let down, and casual viewers finding it visually interesting but sometimes confusing. Box office wise, it opened to around $45 million globally, and while final figures are still coming in, it seems like it had somewhat modest performance considering Bong's previous success. Now let's have a look at its scores. IMDb score is 6.8 out of 10, Rotten Tomatoes 77% tomato meter, and 73% audience score, Metacritic 72 Metascore and 6.2 user score, and Cinema Raw rating 6.5 out of 10. A visually grand misfire with a poignant resolution. A spoiler zone. Okay, if you haven't seen Mickey 17, now's your chance to bail. For everyone else, let's dive into the real ending. A significant turning point involves Mickey 18 making devastating sacrifice to fulfill a demand from the native creepers for a human life in exchange for a creeper child killed by humans. Mickey 18 detonates a bomb vest, killing himself and Marshall. This tragic act ultimately paves the way for peace between the humans and the creepers, with the creeper baby being safely returned, of course. Following this, there's a reckoning for those who collaborated with Marshall and his wife Yulfa. Nasha steps into a leadership role within the colony and, recognizing the profound injustice of the expandable program, takes a step to abolish it. In a symbolic act, Mickey 17, now embracing his identity as Mickey Barnes, personally destroys the cloning device, ensuring he will be the last of his kind and that no more expandables will be created. The film concludes with Mickey 17 accepting his individuality as Mickey Barnes, signifying the end of his disposable existence and the beginning of his own life. Alright, what did you think of Mickey 17? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. If you appreciate these deep dive reviews, hit that like button, share it with your fellow movie buffs, and subscribe for more honest takes. This is Cinema Roar signing off before we all become expandables.